Hey, what's going on, guys? Today I have a 2017 Honda 500 Rubicon, and we will be taking a look at how to replace timing chain tensioner, and timing chain guide. This motor actually ended up breaking the timing chain guide, which actually broke off and got lodged up here in the top of the motor. It got lodged up there, which kept the bike actually running, which caused the timing chain to ride on that and actually end up overheating and seizing up. As you can see, it's not supposed to look like that. It's supposed to be something like this. And yeah, that is not good. You do not want that. Let's get started. First, you're going to take your front cover off. I would recommend taking off your tires and your floorboards. That way you have room to work on everything under here, because you will have to unbolt your front diff, slide it forward, get your front drive shaft out the motor. That way you can take off your front cover. Before you take off your front cover, remember, do not forget to drain your coolant, because your water pump is on this cover, and don't forget to drain your oil. If not, that'd be a huge mess and you have coolant all in your motor, and you don't want to do that. Once you have all your fluids drained and you have your front cover off, it's held on by a bunch of 10mm bolts. I do recommend lining them out, that way you know where they go back, because some of them are a little bit longer than others and they all only go in a certain order, so I do recommend doing that. But once you have the front cover off, you can see I already have my inside my motor disassembled. You will see first, come over here, this is actually your big counterweight. All they have holding it on is a locking washer. As you can see, all you do is knock the tab back and loosen it. It has a washer that sits right behind your nut, and that all comes out one piece. Once you take that out, you see you have a part of your shifting assembly. This actually sits in there and it aligns your gear shifter, and this just sits on top, and this rides inside your clutches. When you're going to take out your clutches, you just slide out this bearing and bearing housing, slide that out the way, and this one has the same one as that, the same type and size locking nut. Knock the tab back, take it out, it has a washer with it, and you can set that to the side, and you can start actually taking off your timing chain guide, which, as you can see, this one's broke. It just has one 10mm nut that sits right back here that holds the timing chain guide. You can loosen, take that out first. Then you will need to, there's a tab on the back of your tensioner. You push that in. It's hard to do with one hand, and you could tape the slack out, relieve some slack for your actual timing chain, which allows you to pull it out and over everything and take it out just like this. Once you get your chain, your guide off, now it's time to get the motor top dead center and your cam top dead center and start reassembling everything. First, you can start off by following this line with this hole, and it lines up with that triangle thing that's in your block. You can start by aligning that, and also do not forget to get your motor top dead center on your flywheel. Just find the T and line it up. You will have to do that, and once you get both of them lined up top dead center, you will be ready to start reassembling everything. And when you start to assemble everything, your timing chain tensioner and guide back on, I would recommend you push your tab in and you put like a pick in that small hole right there to keep your tensioner pulled back. That way you ain't got to try to hold it while fighting with all this. Also, make sure you're on your crank on your bottom gear down there, and your crank is 100% top dead center. The T in between the F, there's a mark. and you have to make sure that mark is 100% aligned with the little indicator right there on your motor. Once you have that lined up, you need to make sure that this is 100% lined up with the hole and that mark up there. Make sure they're all perfect aligned. While that's also being top dead center, put on that gear, put on that gear, and make sure everything's aligned. You could turn it over a little bit and make sure that it sits right and everything's aligned right. You pull this out, it makes your tensioner pop back out, and it keeps everything tight. That way it's 100% set on timing. And now you're ready to start reassembling everything else. Once you have your timing set, you have your tensioner and guide, everything tightened down and ready to go, you need to move over to start reassembling everything else. First is your clutch basket and clutch gear. As you can see, it lines up. It should line up with that gear right there. Once it slides on, it's on there. And you want to start by putting your washer and your locking nut. Once you put your locking nut on there, you tighten it down, and don't forget to knock the tab in. Then you put on your bearing and the bearing housing. Then you move over to your part of your shifting linkage, this tall piece. It actually slides right on because it could only go on one way. And you'll see it slides on there. That actually aligns your gear shifter, as you can see right there, and it just slides in and sits right in there. And then you move over to putting this in, the other part of your shifting linkage, and it just sits in right there. And now you should be ready to put on your counterweight. Alright guys, now that you have your counterweight put on, washer, lock nut, knock the tab down, you should better feel, rotate the motor, make sure everything's smooth and everything is aligning right. So now you should be ready to put your front cover on your motor. And before you put it on, make sure you see right here that your water pump shaft has a groove in it. That groove has to align with that bar on your camshaft. I should better see right there, that bar. So if you have this straight up and down, whenever you have it top dead center, make sure that this bar is straight up and down. If not, now you go to put this on, it's going to jam up and you won't be able to get it on there right. Also, you're going to have to get some gasket maker, some high temperature gasket maker to put along this, because they do not make a gasket for this cover. Once you apply a good amount of gasket maker to your front cover, you should be ready to put back on the bike. As you can see, already did mine. Once you slide it on, remember, make sure your water pump shaft is lined up on your cam. That's the only thing you got to worry about, lining up. Once you get it on there, it just slides right on. Make sure you put all your bolts in the right spot. As you can see, some are longer than others. And once you put it on, just make sure you go from side to side like you do your tires and torque down the spec. And once you're done with that, you should be ready to start the bike. Your cover's tightened down and torque the spec. Do not forget to add oil and hook up your radiator lines and add water to your radiator. I'm not worried about doing that right now. I just want to make sure it starts and runs good. As you can see right there, it starts up good. Everything's smooth, no loud noises or anything. Everything sounds good. Don't forget, now that you mess with that, you may have to readjust your valves and stuff, depending on how bad they were before. Those actually don't sound too bad, but yep, should be ready to ride. And that sums up how to change a timing chain tensioner, and timing chain guide on any 2014 plus Honda 500 Foreman, Honda 500 Rubicon, and 420 Rancher. And if you found this video helpful, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, and I'll catch y'all in the next one.